So I am on day 1 of my Whole30. I've done these before, so I have a pretty good idea of exactly what to expect. The Whole30 calendar is hilarious. By the way, the shower in the background is my daughter. So day 1 of my Whole30, I was not expecting a headache today, but I actually got a doozy of a migraine about 3/4 of the way through the day. Had to take a Motrin. So that was not fun. Usually I don't get a headache until day 2, but yeah, I don't know what happened. Anyway, I thought I'd share with you the calendar for the Whole30 because it is hilarious. So here's their mood calendar. This is what happens when you cut your body off sugar and you're going through sugar addiction or withdrawal. So day 1 is where I am right now, and usually it's so what's the big deal. Day 1 seems really easy. You're doing everything you should be. You're not sick of any of the food yet. I had 2 1/4-pound venison sausage patties, 2 fried eggs, a pear, a yellow pepper, potatoes and carrots, and meatloaf for dinner. Everything on plan. Used my own homemade salsa for the meatloaf, and it turned out amazing because I do not add sugar to my salsa. You would be amazed at how many things have sugar in them. I'll probably spend another day going over all the crazy things that have sugar that you would never expect, and salsa is one of them. Alright, so anyway, day 1. So what's the big deal? So usually day 1 is super simple and you're like, I got this, this is easy. Then day 2 and 3 come along, and those are called the hangover days, because those are the days you really get the sugar addiction withdrawal, and that, depending on how addicted you are to sugar, can be really bad. For me, I get terrible headaches, I get dizziness, shakes, just this really icky feeling. It's really miserable. I warn my family that it's coming, and that's hangover phase for me. So then we go on to day 4 and 5, which they call kill all things. For some reason on day 4 and 5, you have a very short temper, serious anger issues, and you want to kill anything that comes across your path. I don't feel this way quite as much, but this is just general Whole30, and my family appreciates that I don't, and maybe it's because of the anxiety medicine that I take. Alright, days 6 and 7, I just want a nap. These days are really fatigue. Your body has completely forgotten how to use real food to create energy, and so all the sugar's out of your system now, and your body is relearning how to make energy from something other than sugar. So then we have days 8 and 9 where my pants are tighter. This is a miserable phase. This is the bloating that happens. Your body is not used to all the fruits and vegetables and fiber that you're putting into it, and your intestines are relearning how to digest these things. And so you get a lot of gas, bloating, sometimes you can even get diarrhea or constipation, or all of the above. So these are not fun days. Then we go to the 10th and 11th days of the Whole30, which are the hardest days, because this is when temptation really starts to hit. You have been without sugar for 10 or 11 days, and your brain is trying to convince your body that you cannot live without it. And so your brain goes through almost a second withdrawal where it's trying to convince your body that you need sugar. And every single thing is temptation. This is about where you start getting the weird food dreams too. Like you start dreaming. I used to dream that I was eating combos, and then I would feel so guilty and go, oh my gosh, what am I doing? These are not Whole30 approved. But yeah, you get these weird food dreams. Either you're eating something that's not Whole30 and you feel guilty about it, or you're really wanting something that's not Whole30, or even you're eating something that's not Whole30 and you don't care. So that's when those happen. And then we have 12 through 15, days 12 through 15, the energy starts to come in. This is where your body has finally figured out that it can use something other than fast sugar to make energy. And you will be amazed at the difference that the energy makes. It's not the rise and fall of normal sugar energy, but a steady energy throughout the whole day. And it's really the most awesome feeling once you get to this, because instead of the peaks and valleys, you've just got steady energy all day, and you are ready to go to bed at night because you've cleaned your whole house. So that's a great place to be. And the food dreams kick up a lot during this time. Then after this, there's something called tiger blood. Tiger blood is different for different people. Like, I'm not a super active, healthy person to begin with. So tiger blood for me is just putting me in a better, stable mood. I'm able to focus better. I've got more energy. That's what tiger blood is for me. For some people who are already in great shape and work out and all that, tiger blood for them might be a ramp up of what they're already doing. And this lasts pretty much throughout the whole 30. On day 21, you are, your mood is, I am so over this. Day 21 is, you're sick of all the whole 30 foods. If you see another egg, you might puke. Because eggs are a #1 staple in Whole30, and you're sick of burgers, you're sick of, you've probably made at least 3 or 4 roasts and cooked a couple chickens by now. I like to do soup too, but I am so sick of soup at this point. So day 21, if you don't want to see any more vegetables and fruits, you're so sick of the food that you may actually stop eating. There have been times when on day 21 and 22, I'm so sick of the food that I don't eat hardly anything. Which is not a bad thing, because I certainly have some stores that I can work off. All right, then we get to day 28, and this is the point where you go, 28 is as good as 30, right? So day 28 is like, I'm close to the end, you know, I could just give in and have a treat today and it wouldn't be that big a deal. But is it? So I am adamant about finishing my 30, just because I've promised myself 30 days of healthy eating and no sugar, and I know that as soon as I go back to sugar, I start to crave it like crazy. I'm like, I'm just gonna have one piece of candy or one whatever, cupcake or whatever, and it turns into, now I'm gonna have one every day, and then I'm gonna have several every day, and then before I know it, I'm back to drinking my Faygo and loading up on sugar. So definitely going all out to all the way 30. But at 28, you're like ready to be done. 29, it's almost over. What am I going to eat now? This is the point where you're like, oh my gosh, I have 1 day left. What am I going to eat after this? And it is actually, I thought the first time I read this calendar, I was like, that's ridiculous. But it is absolutely true. On day like 28, 29, I start thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to go back to regular eating, because Whole30 really isn't a lifestyle change. It's not really something that you can do 365 days. And so you have to start deciding what to let back into your diet. So the purpose of Whole30, one of the purposes, is to kind of cleanse your system and then let things back in pieces so that you know what's causing you problems. So after your Whole30, you might say, okay, now I'm going to start eating dairy. And you start eating dairy and you see if it causes you bloating or headaches or constipation or any other kinds of problems. And if it does, you cut it back out. And if it doesn't, then after a while you add the next food and you say, okay, now I'm going to eat peanuts and see if that causes me problems. So that, I'll talk more about that later, but that's kind of the purpose. And the last one, this is a long video, sorry, but I love the Whole30 calendar and it's worth going through the whole thing. So the last one is day 31. You have made it through all of your 30 days, and this one is called deep breathing and maybe some ice cream. And at this point you hopefully feel so much better and you're ready to let in some of those extra foods that I was talking about. And as long as you don't overdo it, you won't wreck everything that you just did in your Whole30. So let them in slow, go easy. Anyway, that's the Whole30 mood calendar. I hope you found it interesting, and thanks for watching. Bye.